All right, in this question, it says we roll a 10-sided die once. Question A asks, what is the probability that you will roll a 4? So let's list the possible outcomes on a 10-sided die. You can roll 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So in problem A, we are asked to find the probability of rolling a 4. So let's take the ways to roll a 4 and the total outcomes. Now, probability of rolling 4, to find that, we would use the number of ways to roll a 4 and divide by the total outcomes. Well, on a 10-sided die, there is only one way to roll a 4. So we'll say there's one way to roll a 4 with 10 outcomes on a 10-sided die. So we'll say equals the 1 divided by the 10, giving us 0.1 for our probability of rolling a 4. For problem B, it asks what is the probability of not rolling a 7? Now, to find the probability of not rolling 7, the easiest way to find this is first find the probability of rolling 7, then take 1 minus that number. So 4 is no longer our target. Now we're targeting 7. So we want the ways to roll 7 and the total outcomes again. Our probability of rolling 7, again, we're going to use the ways to roll 7 divided by the total outcomes. We have one way to roll 7 and 10 total outcomes. So our probability of rolling a 7, we say equals our ways to roll 7 divided by the total outcomes, again giving us a probability of rolling a 7 of 0.1. So our probability of not rolling 7, for this we use 1 minus the probability of rolling 7. Anytime you want to find the probability of not doing something, we take 1 minus the probability of doing that thing. So 1 minus this gives 0.9. This is going to be our answer for part B. Now, for part C, we are asked what are the odds of rolling a multiple of 3. So let's first clear the paint from the 7. So let's indicate our multiples of 3 on here. We'll paint the 3. Now 6 is also a multiple of 3, and we'll paint that too. And 9 is also a multiple of 3. We'll paint that too. So for part C, in part C, we want to find the odds of rolling a multiple of 3. So we need to make a list of our multiples of 3, and then we need to see how many are not multiples of 3. So we've indicated 1, 2, 3 numbers as being multiples of 3. So we'll say 3 here. Everything else is not a multiple of 3, and that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we were asked the odds for rolling a multiple of 3. So to write the odds for doing something, we write the number of yes answers and then a colon and the number of no answers. So our yes answers were the 3 here. I'll indicate that in green. And then the no answers were the 7. So we say the odds of rolling a multiple of 3 are 3 to 7. The yes answers first, the no answers second. So this would be how you answer the question. Now for part D, we were asked what are the odds against rolling a 4 or a 5. So we need to indicate the 4 and the 5 as the things we're trying to target. So let's mark the 4 and the 5 in gold. And we can see there are two outcomes that match this. So for part D, we need the odds against rolling a 4 or 5. So we need the ways to roll a 4 or 5. And we found that there are only two ways to do that, rolling a 4 or rolling a 5. We'll indicate that in green. Of course, the other category is not 4 or 5. Let's count that up. We'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ways not to roll 4 or 5. Enter that here, and I will paint that red. So, if you want odds against, we are going to use the no answers first and the yes answers second. It's a lot like doing odds for, except we write it backwards. We write no first and yes second. So we can say the odds against rolling 4 or 5 are going to be 8 to 2. Now, if we wanted to reduce this to lowest terms, you could also say 4 to 1, because you can divide both numbers by 2. And some instructors require this and some of them don't. As far as I'm concerned, you could answer the question either way. All right, so we've done odds against, odds for, and probability of doing something, and the probability of not doing something.